Greetings from the Columban Missionaries. I'm Father Tim Mulroy, and I'm the leader of the International Leadership Team based in Hong Kong. So recently I've had the privilege of visiting my Columban colleagues in Oceania, in Fiji, New Zealand and Australia. And I would like to share with you some of my reflections on my recent visitation. I've been struck in particular by that line from the Bible, from the book of Ecclesiastes, which says, "There's a time for everything." Many of my Columban colleagues in Melbourne are semi-retired or retired. They have spent many decades in places like Brazil, Philippines, Korea, Peru, and now they are back home here in Australia in the later stages of life. These are Columban priests who have many gifts and talents and are familiar with different languages and cultures, and they are still committed to sharing the good news in the local churches, especially with different migrant communities whose language they speak, whose cultures they are familiar with. And I'm impressed by their enthusiasm and their commitment to sharing the good news insofar as they are able to during these later stages of life. I found something similar during my visit to my Columban colleagues in New Zealand. Most of them also have returned after many years on mission in far-off places, and they want to stay engaged with the local church in New Zealand through outreach to migrant communities there. During my visit to Fiji, I also met some Columban missionaries there who were in the later stages of life and are contemplating returning home and slowing down. But I also met some Columbans there who are out in the mission field and full of activity and enthusiasm. One of these is Father Carlo Jung A-gyun, a Korean Columban who ministers in the remote parish of Lambasa in Fiji. I had known Father Carlo 15 years ago as a Columban seminarian, and so it was a great privilege to meet him again now as a Columban priest in Fiji, and to spend a weekend in his parish and to witness his commitment and enthusiasm for mission there. In Fiji, there are various ethnic communities, including indigenous Fijians and Indian Fijians, and Father Carlo has the capacity to speak the language of the indigenous Fijians as well as of the Indian Fijians, and he's also fluent in English. So I was so impressed to see him moving effortlessly in the use of these languages throughout the course of this weekend as he celebrated masses with the different communities in different places. I was also very impressed with the hospitality and kindness and care and concern of the people of Fiji for Father Carlo. He is the only Columban in that district. He is the only Korean in that area. So naturally, he needs the support and encouragement of the local people. And the Fijian people understand that. And I witnessed their goodness and kindness and care and concern for him, which enables him to continue to be faithful to his mission among them. So that was a tremendous privilege to meet him and to meet the Fijian people and the Indian Fijian people in the local communities, and to celebrate the masses with them, and to hear their stories about their lives and about the many, many years of engagement with Columban missionaries in Fiji. While I was in Fiji, I also met two Columban seminarians there, Paula Suka and Elia Poasa, who are coming to the end of their studies in the seminary. And they are preparing to go on their first overseas mission assignment as seminarians. And I was really impressed with their enthusiasm for mission and their desire to explore other parts of the world as Columban missionaries in the near future. I asked both of them where would they like to go on overseas mission, and they responded to Taiwan and to Pakistan. And when I asked them why those two countries, they told me that they were impressed by the stories shared by other Columban missionaries from the South Pacific who have gone to those two countries. So we have, on the one hand, at the one end of the spectrum, we have some Columban missionaries who are in the later stages of life, returning home after 40 or 50 years on cross-cultural mission in far-off places. In the middle of the spectrum, we have people like Father Carlo, who is in the prime of his life, full of enthusiasm and energy for his mission in Fiji. And then at the other end of the spectrum, we have these two seminarians who are starting out on their missionary journey. And they too have a bright light in their eyes as they look to the future and imagine what their future Columban missionary life might be like. So these past few weeks in the region of Oceania has reinforced for me this belief that there is indeed a time for everything under the sun, a time for every activity, a time for every stage of life. And each of these stages of life have their own blessing and challenge. And what my hope is that we can continue to inspire future generations of people in Oceania, in Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, to follow in the footsteps of so many great Columban missionaries who have brought the light of the gospel to the ends of the earth. So on behalf of the Columban missionaries, thank you for being part of that effort. Thank you for your prayers, your support, your generosity, which enables Columban missionaries to bring the gospel across our world. May God bless you, and may God reward you for all the ways in which you share in our Columban mission as friends, benefactors, and supporters.